Back on TYT Sports, Francis and Jason, we have some mouth-watering stories, and we're starting with easily the most mouth-watering tournament going on at the moment, and that's no offense to the Copa. Great games on show last night. Sorry, Jason, condolences for the loss.
Great game on show.
Well, great
what
performance
show, what
from Argentina.
Game, what part of greatness are you talking about?
Talking about Argentina, of course.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely.
But we're going to talk about the Euros now, because as we move forward to the round of 16, which is taking place, we have some beauties. Some absolute beauties in terms of the games that are going to be taking place. So it was madness, to say the least, on the last day in which the final round of games was played. We had Portugal and Hungary easily share, as we talked about in the recap. You can check that out. One of the most, I would say, exciting football games I've seen in a while, especially on the national stage.
There was like more goals combined from that one game than I think the entirety of 3 days.
Yes.
Of certain matchups. Like, I mean, 6 goals between that game. There was a lot. Look, they've been talking all week long, all 2 weeks long. The Euros goal scoring is down by a full goal per game compared to 2012. So it was nice to see some goals flying in the back of the net.
And it was, and I think it was equally poor defending, but as I said, we're not going to harp on that. We're going to talk about the next round. And it's a lot of games to cover in a short space of time with 2 guys here. But we're going to do our best to cover some of the best ones that I am personally looking forward to. So easily, when you look at this bracket, one side is a lot heavier, I would say, with the big name teams than the other. Historically, currently, and it does pave the way for a potential underdog, maybe a Wales, maybe a Croatia.
Well, it paves the way for a team who's never won the tournament to have a final shot at winning the tournament, no matter what.
No matter what happens.
Whether it be, Wales, a Croatia, a Poland, a Switzerland, any of those teams that come out of that side of the bracket have never won.
Yes.
And, in that case, it makes it obviously a great storyline. You can't script these things.
Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing to see Italy versus Spain.
So I'm going to be honest at first and say that I wasn't too fond of the new rule, which was allowing third-place teams to go through. But I think it poses for an exciting matchup now as we go forward, because some teams that, like Portugal, obviously, they're going to reap the benefits of this because they didn't have a great group stage, 3 draws. Now get the opportunity to go forward and then potentially hit the ground running as we go through to the later stages. And I always talk about how it's a marathon, not a sprint, and this rule gives those teams the ability to kind of bring that to fruition. And it poses it gives the opportunity to some of the underdogs to now face a team that may not be as competitive as you expect at this stage, because usually all the big name teams go through. But if there was ever a rule in place to allow for another Greece-like scenario to happen when they won the tournament a few years back, this is the rule to do so. But we're going to focus on the lower half at the moment because it's a stacked lower bracket. You have Germany, you have Italy, you have Spain, you have France, you have England now. So England, to touch on them, they're probably celebrating at that last-minute goal from Iceland, thinking, all right, we've got ourselves not too bad of a game to qualify into the quarterfinals if they do go forth and beat Iceland. It's not an easy task. I predicted from the very start, Jason, you were on the clip. We could even throw a little snippet back up here. The next team for me is Iceland.
What?
Iceland come in at 15, and I think they could be a good outside bet to make a good run. Not to win it, but just to cause some controversy. I stated that Iceland were a team to watch, and they went obviously leapfrog Portugal to get into the last 16 comfortably in second place. And England are going to face a tough task, but it's not even that. If things pan out the way we expect it, they're going to have to overcome France. Then they're going to have to overcome all the big names if they want to go all the way, which I don't think will happen. Yeah. But as the saying goes, if you want to be the best,
you got to beat the best. Right, that's like the biggest thing. So there's no lucky draws. You got to play who's in front of you. And for the bottom half of the bracket, there's a lot of competition in front of you. And for the top half, I'm not counting out teams like Croatia, especially Croatia actually, and Wales, based on how they've been playing. When it comes to tournaments like these, we discuss it all the time. A major problem with playing internationally is that you don't play that much together. So the teams that click early tend to stay hot through the tournament. Croatia is just strong in the midfield and is finding, it seems like they're dissecting defenses.
Yes.
All around them.
Especially
and
Spain.
Talk about possession, you talk about control, and they're calm and collected. That's important on this stage.
2 words that accurately sum up their midfield. Even when Modric was out of the game.
And Modric, and I'm missing one.
Perisic.
Who was, of course, instrumental in their last group stage match.
Against Spain, in which they won.
Of course, but on the bottom half of the bracket, I mean, I don't want to make crazy bold predictions, but granted, Italy was a team coming into the tournament who wasn't the Italy of 2012 and 2008 and 2004 Euros competitions. But then we realized pretty quickly that that back four and Buffon have only played, 500 matches together? That's obviously an exaggeration.
It's probably even more than that.
It could be, just how long that they've been together for. So while Spain has looked unimpressive, right, I would love to see the Italy versus Germany matchup. I think that in the round of 8 would be another mouth-watering matchup, because I think my prediction of England winning the tournament, even though I got no support from that. Not one person. Not one person.
You did. You get support from the psychiatrist that we sent you to. There's a score that's going to have to. There's a chance for Italy to settle a score, should I say? Last Euros, Spain. Let's not beat around the bush. Embarrassed Italy in the finals. It was something that many didn't expect, considering that Italy are always a team that's so strong at the back and not to concede goals. But Spain were a great team. They still are a good team. They just are finding some things out. They've proven that they are just as great going forward at times, but also there is some holes at the back and some strange decisions when you allow Ramos to take a penalty kick. Either way, by the way, did you see that? The sequence of events where Modric shouts out to Serna, who's this Croatia captain. Modric obviously knows Sergio Ramos from his time at Real Madrid. Shouts out to him, tells him where Ramos usually goes with these penalties. Serna passes it on to the keeper, but at the same time, Busquets is seeing what Modric has said, and he tells Ramos. So there's a big game of Chinese whispers going on, and it eventually got in Ramos's head.
What is Chinese whispers?
You never played that game?
No.
What do you whisper something, and that person has to add something and pass it on, then add something and pass it on? It's what, sorry?
Telephone.
So there you have, it's as much of a breakdown as we get. My predictions still stay the same. Croatia are the dark horses to go through. Obviously, they're having a tougher game now against Portugal. But seeing Portugal, they're not as impressive to me. So I think that on that side of the bracket, Croatia are going to have to overcome either Switzerland or Poland, and then they're going to have to overcome whoever's on the bottom half of the bracket. It could be Hungary, Belgium. It's going to put these teams who are the dark horses to the test and prove that if you are worthy of that all the merit that everyone gives you, like Belgium, who are probably under the biggest spotlight out of anyone. Belgium. So we'll see how things go through. But again, Jason, as a state, Chile did not impress early on in the Copa America. Now they're easily the most dangerous team, even ahead of Argentina, because they're picking up form. But we'll see how things pan out there. And by the way, for the Euros, I'm saying this on camera because then our EP is going to have to live up to it. We're going to have some tactics your way. We'll see which team, maybe in the semis or the quarters, which team has to tactically overcome each other to go forward, because there is a lot to discuss when it comes to the Euros 2016.